Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, you will learn how to use the Postgres left join clause to select data from multiple tables. When you use the left join clause, it will return all the records from the left table in the join and also any records that have been matched from the right table. If there are no matching records from the right table, nothing is returned from the right table, but it will return all the records from the left table. Let's have a look at the syntax on how you would write a left join. So this is the syntax. Basically, you start with a select keyword and the column names, and you select the first table, which is the table on the left, and then you left join the second table on table 1 dot the column name from table 1, and you set the column name from table 1 to match the column name in table 2. So this, where it's got the equals to here, is where you have the matching column where the join is actually performed. So let's have a look at an example. So this is just an illustration here. In this illustration here, you can see that all the records from the left table are returned, hence it's all shaded, and any record that is matched from the right table, you can see the right table, only this bit here is shaded, which means it will only match the records that meet the criteria set in the join clause. All right, so if it doesn't match these area, the white areas here, the data has not been matched. The only matched area is this shaded area here. So let's have a look at a quick ER diagram. ER basically means entity relationship diagram. So it kind of like gives you a diagram of the relationship between two tables. These are a couple of tables from our sample database, which is the DVD database. I'm going to use that database to illustrate how we perform a left join. I just wanted to show you the actual diagram to show the relationship between these two tables we are going to use. This table here, called the film table, has a primary key, which is the film underscore ID. If you look at the inventory table, it also has a film ID column. So these two tables here have a relationship, and we can perform a join based on the matching columns from both tables. What this diagram is saying here, this ER diagram, basically it says that each row in the film table, this table here, each row in the film table may have 0, you can see the 0 here, may have 0 or many rows in the inventory table. This here indicates many. So each row in the film table may have 0 or many rows in the inventory table. Also, each row in the inventory table has 1 and only 1 row in the film table. So you can see here, that's why you've got this means many. You can see here there's only a single, which indicates that each row in the inventory table has only 1 and only 1 row in the film table. So this kind of like gives you a relationship diagram. It's called an entity relationship diagram. Shows you the relationship between the entities of both tables. So now let's head over to our pgadmin tool and implement this join between these two tables. So this is the admin tool here, and this is the DVD rental database, and these are the tables. So the two tables we are going to use in this join is the film table. Let's look at the film table quickly, and you can see it has 13 columns. We've got a film ID column, and if we look on the other table, which is the inventory table, we should have a film ID column as well. So this is a film ID column. So we are performing the join based on these two tables having a matching column. That's where the relationship is. So let me quickly open up our query tool. I'm going to right click on let me go back to the film table. I'm going to right click on the film table and go query tool, and that will launch the query editor. So what I've done to save time, I've pre-written the script. I'm just going to copy that in and explain it. So this is a query to perform the join. So what I've basically done here, you can see that I have used the left join clause to join the film table to the inventory table. All right. So we start with the select statement. If you're reading data from a table, you always use the select keyword. So this start with the select keyword, and then I specify the columns that will be displayed in the output. Because I'm using identical columns from the film table and the inventory table, it is the film_ID column from the film table that will take precedence. That's the table, that's the column that will display after the join has been performed. So hence I've got film_ID dot film. The dot indicates that this column here is coming from the film table. Next, I've got the title here dot film, which indicates that this title column here is coming from the film table. And then we've got the inventory ID, which is coming from the inventory table. And the from is from the film table. The film table is the first table. That will be the table on the left. So it will return every record that matches from the left table and part of the record that matches from the right table. So on the right table, it will return things like the inventory ID, because that should match. So let me execute. This is the join now. After the from field, we've got the left join, which is the keyword. This is what actually you have to indicate to perform the join. So we're performing a left join on the inventory table, and we're using this on keyword. Without that, the join does not happen. That's what glues it together. So we're using the on keyword, and we're specifying the columns that are involved in the join. So we're joining the film_ID column that belongs to the inventory table. We're joining that to match the film_ID column in the film table. So the join has been performed using just these keywords here. So let me execute so you can see. All right, so the join has been performed. As you can see, the columns listed in the select statement and the ones you can see here. Film_ID, this ID here, that's the one there. The title is this title, and the inventory is coming from the inventory table. So that's how you perform a left outer join. We can modify this query slightly because sometimes you find rows that may be empty. For example, in the films table, there are some rows in the film tables that do not have corresponding rows in the inventory table. So the values of the inventory ID will become null. Null means there's no value. So what we can do, we can add a where clause to select only films that are not in the inventory table. So let's modify this slightly to include a where clause. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off this semicolon here to indicate that we're adding to the statement, and I'm going to attach a where clause. So I'm going to say where inventory where inventory dot film underscore ID is null. So let me run that again. You can see we've got you can see much reduced rows here. So we've actually filtered the result down by specifying where the film ID is null. So we've changed the conditions slightly with the where clause. So by adding the where clause, it only selects films that are not in the inventory. All right, so this is what we've done here. This technique can be useful when you want to select data in one table that does not have a match in another table. Thank you so much. In this lecture, I've shown you how to use the left join in Postgres to select rows from one table that may or may not have corresponding rows in another table. Many thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions. Bye for now.